Okay, as you can see here, the nasturtiums are getting very large for the seed trays. So what I'm going to do today is transplant them into larger pots. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill up my pots with organic potting soil, which I've gotten from a nursery here in Mallorca. It says Organico here. Now I'm going to show you a trick. Take a teaspoon from your kitchen and we're going to scoop the nasturtiums out of the seed tray with the teaspoon because the nasturtium's roots are quite sensitive. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to make first a little hole here where the nasturtium's going to go in the pot. And then I'm going to take this spoon and I'm going to make sure to scoop everything out because I do not want to disturb the roots of the nasturtiums. So I've got it like that. And in the pot it goes. I'm going to tuck him in, or her. And there. Because I have 5 nasturtiums in my seed tray, I'm going to put 2 in one pot and 3 in the other pot. So I'm going to be very careful. Scoop them out. Hang on to them if you have to. Transplant them over. And make sure you tuck them in properly. Here I'm pressing down a little bit more than I press the soil in the seed tray. Because you want to make sure you tuck them in properly. There. Okay, so after you've tucked in your plants in their pots, I'm going to water them thoroughly. You can water with a watering can because now they're big enough so they won't drown. And I'm going to water a little bit first and I'm going to make sure this water sinks down to the bottom before I water again. So one more time. And I do want to see the water come through the pot down to the bottom of the tray here. We got to soak them, make sure they're thoroughly soaked. So now the water is coming through the pots and into the tray. I'm going to do a little bit more. This soil is a little dry, so we'll do a little more. And as you can see, the water is now coming through the tray. So I'm going to leave that one like that and water the next one. Now keep in mind, I'm still covering up my seed trays at nighttime because in Mallorca here it drops down to about 10 degrees Celsius at night, which is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm also going to cover the nasturtiums that I repotted. So I'm going to cut another piece of fiber cloth out and cover those too tonight. Okay, we're going to transplant the arugula into a larger container. So as you can see here, the arugula has gotten quite big for the seed tray. And because seeding soil mix has less nutrients in it, this arugula will take off once we transplant it into the container with organic potting soil. Okay, so you want to make sure that your container has holes in it for drainage, as this one has. So I'm going to fill this with the organic potting soil. So I'm making sure it's not lumpy. Then I add just a little bit more. And there we have the container filled with potting soil. So now we're going to transplant the arugula here into the large container. Now remember, teaspoon is key for transplanting babies from seed trays. So I've taken this teaspoon from my kitchen. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to actually make some holes first. I'm going to space them a little bit apart. And I'm going to scoop this little guy out here. Make sure you get the roots. Tuck him in. There. As you can see here, I've left about 3 centimeters, an inch from the top to the soil. And this is about how close I'm planting them. You can see that I'm planting them in 2 rows here. I've finished planting the arugula. And because I have a little space left, I am going to take one of the lettuce from the seed trays and put it also in the container, because I'm going to be able to harvest a little lettuce and arugula at home. The rest of the seed trays will be going down to our new garden. So when you're transplanting, don't forget to put the labels in. So I'm going to take one of these lettuces here with my teaspoon. Make a hole. Now these lettuces are lettuce heads, so keep in mind they do get quite big. So as you can see, I'm pressing down a little bit, and there is the lettuce planted at the end. So you guys can do this at home too on your balcony. And now I'm going to water with the watering can, and I'm not going to pour water directly on these lettuce heads. I'm going to pour a little bit on the side. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And then I'm going to water one more time. Okay, so I'm going to water one more time here on the edge. Make sure it gets soaked. And if they do get a little mangled, you can fluff them up a bit after you've watered. Get them up again. Standing there. And I'm also going to make sure that the water came through. So I'm going to make sure there's water in this tray now a little bit. And there is, actually. I can see it. So that's perfect. It is soaked. And you're done. So as you can see, I've repotted the rest of the seedlings from the seed trays. There's several reasons why I did that. The first reason is that if you leave the seedlings too long in the seed trays, they will get leggy and yellow. And that's because the seed soil mix doesn't have very many nutrients in it. So what I wanted to do is plant them in more nutrient-rich soil, and I planted them in organic potting soil. Another reason was I wanted to give them liquid fertilizer. And what I use is something called organic liquid seaweed that I buy off of Amazon. And I gave them a dose of that too. Now read the back of the organic liquid seaweed bottle for instructions on how to mix that in a watering can. It's also getting a little colder here at night. The temperature here in Mallorca, Spain right now is between 12 and 15 degrees Celsius during the day which is about 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And at nighttime, it goes down to about 4 to 8 degrees Celsius, which is approximately 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So as you can see, I have a shelf on my balcony here to put the seed trays on. I want to mention something about this shelf. It's a collapsible shelf, so I can fold it up and actually bring it with me. And I brought it here to Spain all the way from Sweden because I love these shelves. I have 2 of them. Another thing I like about these shelves is when you put pots on the shelves, the sunlight can go through and reach the plants on the bottom shelf. Another reason is if you want to have them inside with grow lights on them, you can easily tie the grow lights onto these shelves. And also, I do want to mention that I'm still covering up these seedlings at night with my fiber cloth, a little blankie.